Okay, so I've been asked how I made my drum and bass track Night Drive using just the 404. And it's quite a simple track. And a few people have commented on the bass, so I'm going to talk about that as well. I'll just give you a quick rundown of my setup that I'm using. So I've got my SP404. This is the SP404 Mark II. I've got a DeepMind 12. I've got a TD3. I've got a microcog, and everything's plugged into this big mixer. The mixer has an aux return, so an auxiliary send and an auxiliary return. The auxiliary send is going into the 404 and then coming back via the aux returns. So all the synthesizers go into the mixer, including this microphone. They go through the 404, they go back into the mixer. I've also got an output going into the headphone port of the mixer, going into my camera, and then the two monitor cables coming out the mixer go into my interface, which is plugged into my computer. So that's that. The 404 also has MIDI, so I've got a TRS to MIDI and then a MIDI splitter with one MIDI cable going to the TD3 and then another MIDI cable going to the DeepMind. So that means from the 404 I can trigger my TD3 or my DeepMind and have everything locked to the clock on here. And then further to that, I've got a MIDI cable going from the DeepMind to the microcog. Now, you'd probably think, why would I not have a cable from the 404 into the microcog? And the reason is because I use my DeepMind as my main keyboard. Because it's big, I can use it as my main keyboard, so I would like to trigger the microcog from these bigger, better keys. And also, this plugs in via USB to the computer, so the DeepMind plugs in via USB, and that gets the clock if I was using Logic, so I can do that. But also, it just takes it from here anyway. So it gives me lots of flexibility there. On the 404 itself, if I just go into the sounds, the track's very simple. There's not really much to it, and it's my first attempt at anything, really. I've not really delved into it a lot. So I've just got a couple of samples, so a couple of drum samples. And then some other ones here, which are more the standard that I would use. Because I like the sort of standard acoustic drum sounds with that. And then I've got some sounds here. So I've got, the first one is, oh actually no, there's some jungle sounds. Here I've got my my sounds I've recorded in from my synths. So I've got my pad. And that's actually a combination of the DeepMind and the microcog. I've got a nice sort of lead line. I've got that, which is not an arpeggio. And then I've got my bass sound. And I've had a couple of comments about the bass sound, saying that it's not big. So I've got the microcog here on the preset that I use, hooked up to the mixer with a direct output going into the camera. This is exactly what the bass sounds like. Sorry, no it's not. No it's not. There we go. That's what the bass actually sounds like, as it is. And even then, I can crank that up a little bit. So that's what it sounds like. Now, I could actually, I could add distortion on here. So if I go into the, where is it? It's that, isn't it? Is it that or that? I think it's that. No, where is it? It's that. That's the distortion. So without, and then with. That's a bit crap, honestly. There is another way I could do it. So on the mixer, if I go here, if I go to number 16, punch that in. So again, without, if I crank this up, distortion. I can do it that way. I could also use a Guitar Effects module and get more out of it, but I choose not to. I'm going to put that back on 34. So that's the bass sound. That's reverb. But that's the bass sound that I used. And there we go. I can quite easily could have done it with a bit of distortion. I didn't. And yeah, that's basically how I did it. I just recorded it in and then rearranged it. And I rearranged it on here using TREC mode because I'm lazy. So if I go... Oh, God. Record. Which one is it? I think it's that one. Yeah, so change that to TREC mode, go record. What's that actually? What the hell? It was that one. Record TREC mode. So you'll see here. Is quite simple. And then I also arranged a chain on it. So I arranged all the patterns into sort of an order, and then all I had to do when it came to putting it into the computer was just hit that and it plays the whole thing all the way through. So there's two of these, so it's moved there, and then it's going to go into the beat. And that's it. That's how I did it. I wanted to get into the chaining to see how that worked. I didn't do a lot. I think I did a few things with the panning, and I've messed about with it since, and I've come up with other ideas and things that I'm working on. So that's how I've got it set up. That's what I'm doing at the minute, and I'm just kind of exploring what I can do with this, with the other hardware that I've got. And I know there's loads of other ways these devices can all connect to do all sorts of things. So, for instance, there's a sound on here that I like. There's that one. There's that one. And that sound would sound really good with some portamento. But in order to get the portamento one here, I'd have to go around to pitch and faff about with this spreadsheet. Or I can just turn a knob. Sorry, no I can't. Why the hell is that not doing it? Because of that. There we go. I turned it off. So I can just turn a knob and I've got portamento, which is really, really nice. And again, if I wanted to distort that, I can just go here, go back to 16. I only memorised that. That doesn't sound very distorted. Why does that not sound distorted? Oh, it is. You can hear it there. So if I turn that off, it's nice and smooth. Put it on. It's like a bit of grit. It's not proper distortion. Like I said, if I wanted real distortion, I would plug in this effects mixer thing, which is just there. I might move that, might put it somewhere more accessible. But that's basically it. I can tweak it. I can also EQ things. Of course, it's got a 3-band EQ, so I can just take out I can just do that actually. Just isolates it a bit more, makes it a bit bassier. So you don't get that high resonance there. I'll just take it out. It's still there, but it's not as bad. That's a good one to do it too, so I could do that. It's a bit more mellow. Yeah, I can just tweak things how I want, which is neat. So I'm going to mess about. I'm going to hopefully try and make some more stuff using the 404. I might try and combine it with Logic as well, which can do a lot. If you send this out to Logic, you can then capture bits of audio from it, and I can use this to resample, because of course everything that goes into the mixer I can then send to the 404 and then go back via the aux return, so I can mess with that. So I'm going to try and mess about with that next. I might make some more videos about my creative process. That's kind of why I've set up my camera like I have, so I can do that kind of thing. And if you like this, great. And if you want to see more of this content, even better. If you don't, tough shit. So yeah, that's it. That's my setup. That's how I'm getting into analog in a way, and I'm having fun. Also, check out my other music channel. My music channel is 20 Knots. I make loads of music over there. That's my main channel where I come out with actual music instead of this experimental stuff that I do. So yeah, go check that out and see you in the next video.